Going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a car blog. Hope you guys and gals are having a blessed day at this little work. So I'm on the way to get the kids. If nobody tells you today, remember God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying that you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you subscribe to the Take It Home podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I'll put on my Masters Classic outfit. Professional wrestler of 13 years. It'll be 14 years in March. God bless you. God bless you, Raphael. So you look at the matches that I have on this channel as well as the topics. Sometimes I talk about the hot topics, and sometimes I talk about just topics that I just want to say as a wrestler, as a fan, as a booking promoter, and everything. So make sure you guys sub to that. Also sub to my other YouTube channel, C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. This week we celebrate 7 years of running a company and running a great business that we serve the community with. I'm grateful. I thank God for it as well. Make sure you look at that channel, look at the matches, look at the great wrestlers, look at the great matches and stories we have there. So shout out. This video should be called "Is WWE Doing Some Secret Trading with the Wrestlers?" What's going on, Robert Brown? Lafayette, Indiana in the building. Red Syndicate in the building. Also for C3 Ultimate Wrestling, February 21st, big business, Dyer, Indiana, Harold's private venue. Get your tickets now on Eventbrite. They're $5 off, and there'll be $5 more at the door. And there's a big announcement that's going to happen this week, so tune into that. So for the past couple days, a couple people got released from their contracts, or didn't get renewed, or they didn't ask for a contract extension like Paul said, and another one had just got signed to a company, and then some old tweets came up, and the higher-ups of that company, the bosses of the bosses, said that they didn't want him, allegedly, and they let him go. So now only 3 out of 4 people are part of the group, even though they announced that all 4 of the guys was going to be there. So we're going to talk about, obviously, Trey, Miguel, and Tommaso Ciampa. And yes, I did have to look up how to spell Tommaso Ciampa, because I was going to spell it with an H, and apparently it's not with an H. So interesting. Ride with me. Good afternoon, Austin. What's going on? As usual, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about Tommaso first. Tommaso, he's been a solid guy. He's a great wrestler in my opinion. I know a lot of people call him Triple H. I remember that, like, R-Truth was like, that was a running gag for Tommaso, was that he was Triple H because of how he looked and stuff, and the pictures and the memes and stuff. In NXT, he really flourished. I mean, the stuff that he did when he betrayed Johnny Gargano, great. I thought it was great stuff, and I think a lot of people was like, okay, well, if this guy does this in WWE, he'll be great. He didn't, unfortunately, really do it. I can't sit here and say, like, I really looked at a lot of Tommaso Ciampa's matches and stuff. I know that he did tag with Johnny again, and they won the tag titles one time, maybe more than once. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it. Like, to me, with the tag division, I've been talking about that tag division for the longest and stuff like that. And, like, so honestly, I think they just draw names out of a hat, honestly. But still, solid wrestler and things like that. So a lot of people since last week, actually, it was talking about there's rumors that his contract will not be renewed and he's going to leave WWE. So he did make a post today, giving thanks to his wife and his kids. And, he's also said, if you want to book me, here's my info. And then some people, he's speaking about his future and stuff like that. So, like that, I do hope he gets the best out of what he wants to do. Like I said, the independent wrestling, it's got great perks. It's very, very positive when it comes to certain things. You can make your own schedule. You can spend more time with family. You can probably wrestle one time a week and still provide for your family. So that's also a good thing. Tommaso's tag team made no sense, but his solo run I could work with. Got to be careful what you type on social media nowadays. Definitely, most definitely. Fun fact, I've been following Tommaso since his days in Ring of Honor back in 2012. So yeah, he's like one of those guys that was like ROH, PWG. If you guys remember those companies, well, ROH obviously still running, PWG is not, but still. So he's definitely one of those guys. I do see him having a whole bunch of banger matches on the indies. especially since his availability is very open now. So I know a lot of people are going to bring him in because a lot of people rock with him and stuff like that. WWE is known to sometimes not care about what people say on the internet about certain wrestlers. I think Tommaso falls into that too. So I do wish the best for him. I do wish everything is well with him as well. Like I said, sometimes you can be a great wrestler. Heck, you can be a great talker, and WWE still won't see nothing in you, and they'll let you go, regardless of what the creative room or whatever Triple H Paul Thetic says. That's just how it is with certain things. Maybe they don't like them because of ABC. They don't like what they represent. All of this other stuff is also very, very important to like people making those kind of decisions. So, well, that's with Tommaso. Now with Gargano, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I don't know where he's been. I know he was doing some small stuff a little bit with his wife and all of that. I know a lot of people want the way to come back. They want the way back because they did great stuff in like NXT and stuff like that. But you know, with Indy no longer with the company and stuff like that, you guys can do something else, you know. But still, Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel is part of the Rascals, you know, the people who do that, you know. It was 4 of them. If I told you all their names, I'd be lying if I knew them. You know, I know Myron Reed, Wesley, he doesn't go by that on the indies, Brett's, and then Trey Miguel. Some of these names is intertwined with what their NXT and WWE names were and stuff like that, but still. So all 4 of these guys, they signed all 4 of these guys. Now I know a lot of people on the independent scene, they booked these guys. These guys were very, very popular. They had stuff in TNA, like in TNA they had skits and stuff like that, stoner skits and stuff. They had a whole bunch of stuff. And I do know that when TNA found out that they signed to AEW, they pulled the matches because of TNA's obviously business bedfellows with WWE. So they didn't want to have anybody that's basically signed to the competition on television in one of the last matches or whatever like that. But I know a lot of people, they did love the Rascals in TNA, and they loved a lot of the stuff. I know Myron Reed, first time I saw Myron Reed, he was in MLW when I seen him. And he was calling himself the Young Goat and stuff like that. He had the middleweight champion and stuff, had great matches like Leo Rush and stuff like that. And then Wesley and like NXT. And a lot of people was upset he got released. The other guy, Brett or whatever, he was in NXT and got released with the controversial pictures, which is crazy that we talking about controversial tweets and pictures and stuff, because that goes into Trey Miguel. Now, I've seen Trey Miguel's stuff in certain independent companies and stuff like that, and he's a solid wrestler for the most part, especially with the flip stuff that a lot of people like. You know, those 4 men are your guys if you like that kind of stuff. So people was like, dang, what happened to him? Now, at first it seemed like he just quit AEW, like he needed to take a mental break and stuff like that, because that's what people were sharing his posts about, taking a break and stuff like that. Don't tag me in anything and stuff like that. So a lot of people was like, well, maybe he is taking a break. You just don't know what people are going through. And then speculation came in saying that higher ups, like, you know, not Tony, but AEW, you know, was saying like the higher ups is why he's no longer in AEW. So obviously we was like, dang, what did he say? What did he do? Is it something that he didn't like? So there was some tweets and posts he said about the LGBT community. And when you say something on the internet, heck, you can even try to delete it. People will still have it. They'll screenshot it and everything. And sometimes it can ruin your bookings and stuff like that. And unfortunately, what he posted and what he said, it ruined the bookings. Now, not saying there's no validity in what he's saying. I won't say that all it's 100% true what he's saying, but still, a lot of people do not like when you generalize. I think that's like one of the worst things that people do is generalizing and stuff like that. So I definitely see why they were upset with it. Would I release them for it? Probably not. You know, it's not as bad as what the Briscoes were saying about the LGBTQ community. It's not as bad. It was just a statement. Could it be wrong? Yes. Could it have a little validity in it? Yes. But at the same time, what they were saying, like, and I'm not sitting here trying to crap on the Briscoes or whatever like that, because these guys were legendary tag team and stuff. Rest in peace, Jay. I do know they love the Lord and stuff, but man, they was loving the Lord super mode, like the stuff they were saying. I don't even want to say it here because it was just crazy. It's crazy what they were saying, but they did apologize and stuff, and Trey apologized as well. I would have probably just kept him off TV a little bit until AEW is more of the progressive company compared to WWE, and I only say that with quotes because I think that AEW just uses people's stuff of being LGBT and minority just for their personal gain, just to be like, hey, look at what we got this, and then when the viewers don't look and don't care for it and it doesn't bump the ratings, end of the line. Honestly, it's just the end of the line. Regardless of how I feel about the situation and all that, that's just the truth. It's just the truth. It's just like the same thing about WWE giving black wrestlers tryouts because Triple H basically said there was no black talent. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I remember Nyla Rose and all of these people on doing a tour with AEW, promoting it and stuff like that, promoting what Nyla Rose was and stuff like that. We don't see Nyla Rose on TV like that. It's Nyla Rose on ROH. I don't know. I remember Sonny Kiss being there and stuff like that and all kind of stuff. And what happened with that? Pride Month happened. They dropped the whole album. Black History Month. They dropped the whole album. A whole album with wrestlers who rap apparently talking about their life. Whatever. But still, it's just the way of certain things. And even if you could say it the nicest way, if people feel like it's egregious, they're going to try to get you up out of there. And it don't even matter. That's why a lot of people don't like debating and going online about certain things, because people want to fight. People be like, oh, you're this and you're that. Like, people want to listen to react. They don't want to listen to understand. To me, I'm definitely fine saying, you know what? We can agree to disagree. Or you're wrong and we don't have to go any further. But most of these times, both sides, it don't matter. They're going to try to fight. They're going to go to blows. Hey, you should do it this way. You should do it that way. And it gets just disrespectful. So still, it's just the craziness of the situation. So Trey, I don't think he'll, like I said, I think he should at least been suspended or talked to. Samuel Guevara said crazy stuff about Mercedes Moné, and y'all didn't pay him and y'all suspended him. So it's like, my thing is this. People do pick and choose with certain things, with certain situations. I know that WB had a saying in it and all of that, but still, I do think that you should have talked to him about it or whatever, because people can change, even if they're wrong, and even if they're right, people can change how they feel about certain things. So like I said, it is very unfortunate that he didn't get a chance to show what he can do in AEW, but sometimes it's just the growing pains of the business. Even if you feel valid in what you're saying, there's consequences for it. Simple. And like I said, he apologized for it or whatever like that, and I was like, yeah, buddy. When I saw the tweet, I was like, yeah, man, they about to clip you up out of there. They about to clip you up out of there. But still, it's unfortunate. But I do think that, if Trey is taking a break or a sabbatical, that's fine. Obviously, I do think that he's still going to be booked, because some people, even on the independent scene, knew that he said this tweet and stuff like that. Some people say some crazy tweets, man, and they still get booked and all that. And like I said, it's not the worst tweet ever. It wasn't the worst post ever, but some people feel like it is, and they're entitled to their opinion. It is what it is. But I did want to speak about that briefly. I do want you guys to hit the comment, go to the comments and talk about it. Is it validated? What do you see Tommaso Ciampa going? Tommaso could go to AEW. AEW has a more lenient schedule. You can spend more time with your family and stuff like that too. As a family man myself, I love spending time with my family and stuff like that, and I love wrestling. So it's to the point to where if I can wrestle once or 2 times a month, I'm definitely fine with that. You get what I'm saying? So still, let me know what you guys think. I am up out of here. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.